Hi, I'm super delighted to have Reese today in the podcast. And yeah, she's an international coach working with the subconscious mind and an amazing woman. Yeah, welcome, Reese. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I had some amazing community calls this morning, and I'm so happy to be here with you. It's going to be such a great talk today.
Yeah, you're one of actually, I could almost say mentors as I've been in your coaching program, the Yes Supply method. And you always shared a lot about your personal story. So, and I find it super interesting because you had such a different background and changed so much in your life. How did you start your personal development journey?
Yeah, thank you so much. So, my personal development journey really started when I was working at a job and I was crying on my way to work every single day. I hated it. I remember telling my boyfriend at the time, now my husband, I'm in a rut. I know I'm in a rut. I don't know how to get out of this rut. At the same time, I was working at this job and I was surrounded by people who I could see so much potential in them. So they would say things like, I really want to be an artist, but I could never do that. I really want to travel here, but I could never do that. And I would want to shake them and be like, why are you telling yourself you could never do that? Of course you can. Nobody is telling you no. You're telling yourself no. And after having the same repetitive conversation with many of my different friends, because I could always see everyone else's potential, I had this aha moment where I was like, wait a second, what if I'm doing this to myself? What if I could actually travel whenever I wanted? What if I could be doing something that I love, but the world's not telling me no, I'm just telling myself no. And that was the first time I questioned what would happen if I said yes to myself, or what would I actually ask for if I knew the answer was going to be yes. Because for such a long time, I was kind of just going after the low hanging fruit. Like I would just apply for the job that was right in front of me, or take the opportunity that, was right there, someone said I would be good at. But I hadn't given myself any time to imagine, break free from my past and imagine like what could happen, what could be a possibility. And so I started to dream that up for myself. And that's how I came up with the idea for Yes Supply. I thought, how great would it be if there was a place that empowered people to think bigger? Because there have been many times in my life where I wasn't able to get the mentorship that I wish that I had had from somebody that I could relate to. And so I essentially created what I wish existed. A big part of it came too when I was at this job. I was applying for job after job after job, and nothing was coming to me. And again, I had this shift where I realized like, nobody's going to give me this opportunity. I have to create it for myself. And so I did. And my personal development journey started with my morning rituals. So instead of waking up in the morning and just going on my phone and looking at what everyone else was doing, I would wake up in the morning and think about like, what do I want? I would focus on my goals. I would do mirror work, and instead of saying mean things to myself in the mirror like I always did, like your skin looks like this and I hate my hair and I hate my clothes, I started saying nice things to myself, and my life started to change just from these little shifts in positivity. And so I got so excited about it, I wanted to share it with more people, and that's how I started blogging with Yes Supply.
Yeah, that's such a powerful journey you've been on. And I also like that you said you have to create it for yourself. So that's, I think, one really big thing, that you have to stop to wait that it's coming from the outside, but you have to shift it, that you created. A big part of your coaching and what I learned from you is about the subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
When did you find out that that is something you want to integrate in your coaching?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great question. It's so funny because there's that saying like, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And so I had this vision for a better life and for more success. And one of the things that I realized was if I wanted to create more success, I had to be a better communicator. At the time, I was nervous to talk to more than 2 to 3 people. I felt like I didn't have anything interesting to say, that people wouldn't want to be my friend. I had a lot of negative self-talk. And so I decided I'm going to figure out how to be a better communicator. And so one of the first things I did was I went on YouTube. And I just started listening to random speakers that looked like they were confident. And so one person that I started listening to was Bob Proctor, a Canadian manifestation teacher, which since now has passed away, may he rest in peace. But I started just kind of like watching him because he was such a confident and powerful speaker. And then after, I started actually paying attention to what he was saying. And I'm like, what is he talking about? Like, what is the subconscious mind? And one of the first concepts that he shared that I started to grasp, that started to shift my mindset, was he said that when we have our creative expression, but rather than expressing it, we suppress it, it turns into depression and anxiety. And it made me realize maybe I'm having all of this anxiety and feeling so terrible all the time because I'm repressing myself and suppressing myself instead of expressing myself. So it was with him and with his free, incredible content on YouTube that I started to learn more about the subconscious mind. And then, I was building my blog. I started a membership site. Later, people were asking me about coaching. So I started coaching, and I started to hit this roadblock where I was coaching people. They would tell me their limiting beliefs. I would tell them exactly what to do, exactly how I did it. And I still felt like I was hitting a brick wall with certain clients with their shifts. And then it dawned on me, maybe I'm hitting this brick wall because I'm only speaking to their conscious mind, and I don't know how to speak to their subconscious mind, because I know that our subconscious mind is what dictates over 95% of our daily habits, behaviors, occurrences, emotions. So it's like, if I could only figure out how to speak to their subconscious, then I could help them change. And I discovered tools like neuro-linguistic programming, hypnosis, EFT. These are tools that work with the language of the subconscious, and you can actually help someone shift something that they might have been struggling for years. You can help them shift in 10, 15 minutes. And so I decided I'm going to get certified as a coach in NLP and hypnosis and EFT and all these wonderful tools. And with that, my income skyrocketed, my client success skyrocketed, my confidence skyrocketed, my ability to just get out of my own way and create even more of what I wish existed. I was able to travel, make more money, do all these incredible things in my business. And I had so many people reaching out to me about my coaching techniques. For a long time, I was sending them to the school that I trained with, which was great. I was making, passive income. I was making affiliate money. And there were certain things that I was implementing into my coaching that I had grown with, since having graduated. And so it dawned on me, maybe it's time for me to create my own certification where I combine my own manifestation practices with NLP, with hypnosis, with EFT. And the Yes Supply method was born. And now we've helped and graduated over 1,700 students.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like how you transformed your personal journey into a coaching program to empower people. I remember that you also shared something, because when you look at people who are like successful, it can always be like, oh, it's so easy for them how they reached it, and it can be easy, but it can also have challenges, especially as an entrepreneur. So I would like to know how was your journey, and what was your biggest challenge you faced?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I think something that people really need to realize is that a lot of the time, if someone's saying like it can be easy and it can be effortless, what makes it easy and effortless is you shifting into the identity of the person who's already done it. A lot of the things are easy, but it's our thought process around it or our emotions around it that make it hard. So a perfect example of this for me is live streaming. So, me wanting to build Yes Supply, me wanting to start coaching and helping other people, I had a feeling, I had an inkling that doing live streams was going to get me there, especially back in like 2016. We didn't have reels and all that. Like live streams were where you connected with your clients. I had so much fear around live streams. I would do one and then didn't like it and I would delete it. I would do one and then run out of things to say in 2 minutes. I had all of these things that made me feel like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. Da, da, da. Now for me to do a live stream, it's literally as easy as grabbing my phone, pressing the button, pressing the plus button, and going live. And I don't even have to think about it. I don't even have to plan it. I could talk for an hour and not run out of things to say. So the act of pressing the live stream buttons is the exact same, but it's how I shift it, right? Before I thought I wasn't interesting. I didn't have anything important or valuable to say. No one would want to listen to me. Now I feel like I want to shift people's lives. If this impacts one person, then it makes all the difference. And so with anything can be easy when you become the person who it's easy for. And so this is where the subconscious reprogramming comes in. So you want to ask yourself the question, if I had already done it, if I had already made the $1 million, or if I had already had the 2,000 clients or whatever it is, who would I be? How would I talk to myself? What would my self image be? How would I look at myself in the mirror? And then do the inner work to become that person. And with tools like NLP and hypnosis, it can be very easy because you just affirm that new way of being, that new identity, that new personality to the subconscious mind. Chances are, if you want to be that person already exists within you. You already have the ability to become that person, but it's the societal programming that has told you that you can't be like that you have to be humble, that you have to play small, that you have to limit yourself for other people's expectations. But when you release that societal program and you let yourself become all that you can be, it really can feel easy and effortless. So through my journey, there has been so many ups and downs. But one of the things that I always come back to is, am I being the version of myself where it's already done? Because as soon as I make that mindset shift, it becomes so much easier.
Yeah, and it also connects you to your goal again, which I find
Yes,
powerful, because you can so easily, if you are conditioned in a certain way, you're used to think and act and focus on things that you're used to. And I find it always so powerful when you shift shift the identity, and that also shifts your focus.
exactly. Yeah. One great example of that is when COVID hit. So before the pandemic, I was doing all of my trainings in person, or most of my trainings in person. And I was even renting a space. I had a physical office. And then COVID happens, everything shuts down. I even had trainings planned. And we're sitting there wondering, is this going to be another week? Is this going to be another month? Is this going to be another year? We had no idea. And so part of me, and I had the thoughts of, oh my gosh, like, where is this all going to go? How is this all going to work out? We had people asking for refunds, people that wouldn't be able to attend, et cetera, et cetera. But I shifted into the idea of, well, the work that we do is important. Whether it's in person or online, this work changes lives. And so we're going to go into the energy that our success is already done, that people are going to be grateful that this is available online. And we shifted everything online. And what we found was people actually really, really enjoyed it online. We were able to sign up like more clients. People have more success, more ease. They could save money because now they don't have to travel to Toronto. So something that at first seemed like it could potentially be a failure or a loss actually ended up being an incredible thing. So it's really all about like that mindset shift and asking yourself the question, what would I ask for if I knew the answer was going to be yes? What is the best case scenario? And how can I think in alignment with that best case scenario, expect it, and then I can create it?
Yeah, that's powerful, because you're always also in the driver's seat, like you can do something about it, or you even shift your mindset to look for new opportunities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the world's changing so quickly, technology is changing so quickly. So there's always new opportunities if your subconscious mind is primed to look for them and find it.
One thing I remember is that you were also very, like, you threw yourself into things, like the example with the public speaking. I remember that you once told the story that you yeah really went into it and practiced, and also, which is also very powerful for the subconscious mind, I think, is the power of repetition, that you get your mind used to do things that get more normal and more normal the longer you do it, and the more you
Mhm.
repeat it. Yeah. It's like getting
Yeah.
expert status. Can you tell something about it, about your experience?
Yeah, for sure. So I use mental rehearsal all the time, and mental rehearsal, anyone listening can look it up, is used by some of the top CEOs, athletes, Olympic athletes use mental rehearsal. And the reason for this is the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. So if there's something that you want to do a great job at, maybe it's a public speaking presentation, maybe it's an investor meeting, maybe it's coaching, whatever it is, or a sales call, I used it for sales calls a lot, is you can run through the successful outcome over and over and over in your mind until your mind feels like, oh, I've already done 1,000 successful sales calls. Oh, I've given 100 incredible keynote speeches. And so your mind feels so used to it. You've perfected the process in your mind. And so when you go to do it in real life, you're going to be more successful because it's not a new thing to you. You're already practiced at it. You can practice like the successful version of it so you can improve your technique or your approach or whatever it is. And also too, if you're doing something where you need to harness your creativity, if you're calm and relaxed because your brain feels like you've already done it 100 times, you're going to be able to access your creativity that much better. If you go into something feeling panicked because you haven't done it 100 times, often your body will go into the sympathetic state. It will go into fight or flight, which, it cuts off the innovation aspects of your brain. You're more in survival mode, so you can't even think of those creative things. So it's so helpful to, yes, regulate your nervous system and also mental rehearse whatever it is that you want to do better at, because it's proven to help you actually succeed.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's also used by a lot of athletes to get better
Yeah, to improve
performance.
their game. Yeah, to
Yeah.
improve their game. Yeah. They'll like, let's say it's a basketball player, they'll shoot a few hoops, figure out what
Yeah.
the proper approach is, and then they will actually mentally rehearse themselves doing the correct, practice, doing the correct throw, whatever it is, and they will actually perform better on the court because of it. So it's something that we can all implement into our lives, no matter what it is that we're doing, whether we want to be better at it, we want to improve our speed, our focus, our strategy, just going through it in our mind, the perfect outcome, and include as many sensory aspects of it as you can. So what you would see, what you would hear, what you would feel, because the more real you can make it in your mind, the more it feels like you've already done it and the better you'll do in real life.
Yeah. Yeah, I still find it amazing when I read like studies about it, like how powerful it is that you have almost no difference between people doing the real thing and the ones like getting the mental rehearsal or the visualization about it. So yeah, it's really powerful.
Yeah, I saw a study where people were using mental rehearsal to pretend to like lift something, I think with their finger, and their muscle tone actually increased. So it has physical benefits. You could visualize yourself going to the gym and actually see physical benefits of doing it. So it's really, really powerful. I used to use it when I first started my business to do mental rehearsal for sales calls, because sales calls were something I wanted to do. I was starting to attract high ticket clients, but I was nervous about asking for the sale and saying, yeah, it's a few $1,000s to work with me. But I practiced it over and over and over in the mirror. And I even kind of heard the person saying like, yes, I'm so excited to work with you. Like, here's my credit card or whatever it was. And I did it so much that it became my new reality. And then I was able to perform better on sales calls, have more trust, be less nervous. And we've built a great business since then.
And it's also good to remember that is a power everybody has. I mean, like really, it's like available to everybody.
Exactly.
So, how are you personally using the tools that you are teaching right now in your like day-to-day life?
Yeah, I use the tools all the time. Like I feel like I couldn't live without them. And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing them, because when I discovered them, I felt like it was a crime that I hadn't learned them. I was like, I had gone through so many ups and downs in my life. And if I had only known that I could control my own emotions and feel better and think better and fend for myself better, I know my life would have been exponentially better. And so that's why I just want everyone to know it. So yeah, I use all the tools. I think my go-to is EFT. I'm using EFT multiple times a day, especially I'm a mom, I'm running a business, I have 2 young kids. And so, if there's like a little brawl in my household over toys or whatever it is, I'm literally tapping in the moment on my kids. If they're fighting or something, I tap on their foreheads and I say like, even though, da, 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 and I actually see it calm them down. It's kind of like a form of talking through it with them. So I'm happy I'm exposing them to these tools. And then I'm really aware of what, my goals are and what it is that I'm working towards. And so I'm a big believer in manifestation and the fact that we attract what we're aligned to. And so I'm doing my best to stay in the energy of what I want is already done. And so EFT tapping helps me do that. And then also too, once you know what it is that you want, you can gain self-awareness of, are my thoughts reflective of that? So let's say I'm having a conversation and I say something out loud that's a limiting belief. I'm not just going to let that fly. I'm going to realize, okay, that is a limiting belief. And then when I have time to myself, I'll use the techniques to release it. So if I catch myself saying, part of me is this and part of me is that, I know that I have a part that needs to be integrated. So I love doing parts integrations right before I go to bed. If I notice a limiting belief, I might do or an emotion coming up, I might do neural energetic encoding and try to discover what the root cause of it is to release it. So, I've been using the tools so much, I just integrate them into my life and use them whenever I have a spare second. And it makes such a big shift because we think over 60,000 thoughts a day. Those thoughts are creating our reality. So we want our subconscious mind to be programmed with the thoughts that are leading to the life that we want.
Yeah, totally. And you mentioned some of the techniques, like the NLP techniques you teach. For somebody who doesn't know like how NLP works or even this technique works, how would you describe it?
So it's so powerful and it's so amazing. Like, it can completely change my life because my whole life I thought that it's really hard to change a habit. Like, you have to take 21 days to form a new habit. Or I was always someone who's saying, oh, I've always been like this. I've always been shy. I've always been this. And just assumed that because I had always been a certain way, the rest of my life was going to be like that. And when I wanted to make a shift was when I realized, well, I don't want next week and next month and next year to look like today. So if I want my life to be different, I have to start acting different. I have to start showing up different. So it's our subconscious programs that are deciding the direction that we go in. And so with a tool like NLP, that actually helps you dive into your subconscious program and program them for the life that it is that you want. So if somebody wants to be abundant or rich, they can install that program of, I am rich, money flows to me easily, I have habits that align to being a rich and successful person. And once those habits are installed, you just start acting in that different way. So NLP is the language of the subconscious mind. And when you know how to speak the language of the subconscious mind, you can shift that subconscious program in minutes rather than years, or for some people, never.
And I think what is even the powerful thing also with the subconscious mind is that a lot of the emotions are generated by the subconscious mind. So it's mostly the emotions that keep you from moving forward.
It's so true. It's so funny because I feel like when you're not in this world, people don't want to talk about emotions. Like, they're like, don't cry, like, put your emotions under the rug. But emotions are actually the most important thing. Like, if somebody's road raging, it's because emotions. If somebody acts a certain way to a family member, to their partner in a business meeting, it's because their emotions are overwhelming them to the point that they're reacting rather than responding. So the power of this work is you can be proactive about your emotions. You can release your emotions before the situation unfolds so that when that situation comes up, you can respond in a way that you can look back at and be like proud of, rather than reacting and then later being like, oh my gosh, I blew up and I wish that I hadn't done that. It's so funny because I recently, a few months ago, got this Aura ring. So the Aura ring like tracks your biometrics. And I'm always doing these tools. I'm always doing my deep breathing or my EFT. And so my heart rate variability, which is essentially like the biometric marker of you being able to go back to calm even if life is up and down. Mine is always, or almost always, over 100. And a lot of people I talk to, theirs is around 60, and they're like, how did you get yours over 100? Right? And I'm like, literally just doing EFT and using these tools, releasing the emotions as they come up. And so if something happens where someone might have did something that could have triggered me or whatever, I'm not even going to react in the same way because my emotions are already back to that calm set point, and I can just respond, in a more positive way.
Yeah, that's so powerful, because then, as you said before, when you're triggered in the situation, you usually don't have like the access to conscious responding.
Yeah.
You're hijacked by your emotions. So that's really
Exactly.
powerful, because it gives you so much.
That's such a good way. That I love how you just said that. That's such a good way to describe it. It's like you're overriding that thing that would usually hijack your emotions and get you to act in a way that you don't want. Like your emotions are no longer hijacked, and then you can just act in the way that you actually want to.
Yeah. So when you look back at your journey, I mean, what would you say was your biggest challenge on the way, or has been?
Yeah, honestly, that one that I told you about during COVID, that was probably one of the
Yeah.
biggest like business challenges, because that could have completely hijacked the business, right? Like it was literally going to shift everything about the way that we did business. And I'm really grateful for the way that we were able to overcome that. One of the big shifts is actually transitioning from being a woman running a business to now being a mother and aiming to be a very present mother running a business. I would say that was one of the biggest shifts, because these are my two little boys. And so I want to spend all my time with them and be able to teach them all the things that I want to teach them, and make sure that they're like loved and, feel connected to me and everything like that. So I'd say that was one of the big shifts that I've had in my business as well. Because, they're the most important thing to me in the world. And I'm so grateful, because before I had kids, leading up to it, it was something that I was really thinking about. So I was already starting to like hire and create structures in my business so that when the time came when I had kids, I could have a lot of freedom. So now the way that I'm working, I come down to my office either once or twice a week. And then the rest of the week, I'm able to be at home with them, working and playing with them and balancing things like working on nap time or bedtime or whatever it is. And we've been able to travel a lot too. So we love Florida. So we've gone from Toronto to Florida a lot. I think they've been there like 3 times so far. We've been to Mexico a few times. And one of the next things I keep bugging my husband about is my husband is Bulgarian. So I want to go to Europe hopefully sometime soon and be able to meet his family there. But I would say like those are some of the big shifts that, as a business owner, and especially like a woman or a mother, are things that you need to like really think about and consider if you're scaling.
Yeah, totally. That's also something. I'm also a mother, so I
Yeah.
know how to yeah, how that it's a shift in the life, that you have to mm, manage it differently than before. Um, so how are you doing it now? You work a lot at home, but also, from the mindset or from the um, organizational part, how are you managing your business?
Yeah. One of the things I'm really grateful for is we have an amazing team. I feel like we manifested just the best team that really cares about our mission and our clients. We get so many testimonials from our clients just saying how professional and amazing and connected everyone on our team was. So I'd say that was one of the biggest things. So one of the things that I thought about is like, what is my zone of genius? What are the things that I want to be doing? So I love creating the programs. I love doing things like this. I love doing the videos. But some of the other things outside of that, like, organization and some project management stuff and like data stuff, are not my strong suit or not like my interest. So what I did as I was building my business, I did have to be the jack of all trades when I started, but I got really clear on what are the things that I would like to outsource and delegate that. And then I worked on, creating roles around that so I could outsource that to people who would be even better at that than me. And so, what I do is I aim to focus on creating programs. I'm always getting downloads. And one of the great things about being like a life coach or mindset coach is living your life is kind of like a form of research, right? So when I'm hanging out with my kids, when I'm traveling, when I'm navigating things in life, as I'm moving through them in my own mindset, that actually becomes great ideas for courses or programs or things that I can share with my clients from my own experience. So it's all very integrated, but I do think it's really important to get clear on like, what is it that you want to do in your business? And then whatever is outside of that, see if you can get someone to help you with it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's really nice. How old are your kids?
2 and 4.
Ah,
My oldest just turned 4.
yeah, amazing. What in your experience, what do you think is the main thing that, people want to get coached on, or, the topic they struggle with the most, or that keeps them stuck in the same cycle?
The thing that keeps most people held back is letting their past dictate their future. So they think that they can only reach a certain level based on what they've always seen or what they've always done. So they might say something like, oh, well, I have a degree in law, so I have to be a lawyer. Or, oh, my sister always thought I was good at this, so I have to follow on this path. Or my parents only did this or failed at this or succeed at this, so I have to go down this path. Because our programs and what we're surrounded by as we're growing up, they kind of put us in this box. And a lot of people end up repeating the same patterns of who they were surrounded by as they were growing up in terms of what their relationships look like, what their health looks like, what their finances look like. It's repeating in patterns, and a lot of nature and a lot of our lives works on patterns. So that can work for us to a certain extent to keep us safe. But if somebody is feeling like, I feel like I'm meant for so much more, then what's really important to do is to break free from those patterns. So release those old subconscious programs and ask themselves the question, well, what would I ask for if I knew the answer was going to be yes? If I wasn't connected to that degree, if I wasn't connected to that past, if I grew up in a completely different life, whatever it was, and there was no limitation, what would I have instead? And when they think about that, they might realize that their life looks very different. Maybe their home looks different. Maybe their career looks different. Maybe their relationship looks different. Their health looks different. And from that place, thinking on that new frequency, on that new vibration, now asking themselves the question, well, who would I be in order for that to be real? Who would I be in order to have that type of partnership and have that type of health and have that type of business? And when you can think about that in terms of how you see yourself, how you show up in the world, how you act, how you feel, how you talk to yourself, and you program that into your subconscious mind, what you'll find is you will attract that into your physical reality. So the changes start in the spiritual sense, in that mental realm when you're thinking about it and how you're feeling, and then later you see it showing up in your physical reality after. So that would be the biggest thing that holds people back. Thinking from their past and continuing to perpetuate their past instead of thinking from the future that they want to create.
That's powerful. Yeah. Because I think that's really the biggest thing, because
Yeah, and sometimes people say, I don't know how, but as you grow as a person, maybe you work on your skills, maybe you start meeting new people, you start thinking differently, the how can show up because you start putting yourself in these situations where the opportunities can show up. But if you're thinking in that same box and staying in that same box, the how can't even show up.
yes, and it's also, I think that when you start to move in a different direction, you can see also a different way. Then it's like almost when you start to climb a mountain, you have a different view on each different height you reach, which you couldn't see before. So yeah.
I totally agree. That's such a good metaphor.
Okay.
That's such a good metaphor for it. Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to share, when I started Yes Supply, I didn't even know that I would have a coaching certification. I had no idea that even I didn't even know that coaching existed, but I had to become the person first who just started a blog and then just happened to put a product online and then started a membership site. And then from there, it's like, oh, coaching. And so I wouldn't have been able to see that that was a possibility until I started to climb the mountain. So I think it's so important to climb the mountain, let yourself be who it is that you want to be with your fullest expression, have fun along the way, like play along the way, be like little children. And from there, you'll find more opportunities to like play and have fun and discover all you can be and have it.
So what is your vision for the next year?
Yeah, my vision for the next year is I'm doing a lot of the things that I love. So just continuing to share like content online, and we're getting a lot of people reaching out saying that what we're putting out is inspiring them. So just continuing to do that. I've been sharing a lot of EFT tapping. So rather than just teachings and lecturings, which can be great, actually doing a lot of EFT routines, and people have been saying that that's changing their life. So leaning in more to that. And hopefully going to Europe and helping more people with our certification. So, and then we recently launched our personal development program, Yes, It's Yours. So for a long time, people would ask, how can they access our tools and techniques if they're not a coach? And so now we have Yes, It's Yours. So that breaks down my manifestation process into 5 simple steps and teaches everybody all of the subconscious tools that they can use to change their life. Because I really believe that if everyone had access to the manual of the subconscious mind, then the world would be a better place. So just aiming to share that with as many people as possible.
Great. And if people want to find you, where can they find you?
One of the best places to find us is on our YouTube channel, because we're sharing a lot of exercises that you can try for your own subconscious reprogramming. And then check out our website, Yes Supply, where we have blogs, and you can join our newsletter where we send updates and the science around a lot of the techniques that we teach.
Perfect. I will put everything in the show notes as well, so people can find you and your YouTube channel. I know that you share a lot of great stuff over there. Yeah, one last question I have, because I find it very important in these times. You also have like a trainer for the nervous system, like breath work and the science behind the nervous system and how it's related to the subconscious mind. Why is that important?
Oh, yeah. So in our master practitioner certification, we teach breath work, we teach nervous system regulation. And it's important because there's the mind-body connection. And for many years, I thought this way. And I think a lot of the mindset community thinks that it's just change your mind and everything changes. But there is this real mind-body connection. It's integrated. It's one. So 80% of the information in our body, or in our entire body, it flows from our body to our brain. So even if you're telling your brain all the positive affirmations, I'm rich, I'm successful, I'm safe, da da da, even if you're telling that to your brain, that's only 20% of the information to your body. But if you also integrate those shifts into your body, now 80% of the information is going into your brain. So with whatever shift our clients want to see, whether it's believing that they can have that relationship of their dreams, the health of the dreams, the money of their dreams, whatever it is, we want to regulate the nervous system so that we can receive it. Because if that person doesn't feel safe to receive higher levels of money or that relationship or health or whatever it is, they will reject it. They will push it away. They will not allow themselves to have it. So if you want a full and complete mindset shift, I definitely encourage you to regulate your nervous system so that you feel like, yes, it's safe for me to have more money. It's safe for me to have this relationship, and it'll be easier for you to create it, hold on to it, and grow in the way that you want to grow.
Yeah, totally. And so is there anything that you think is important to say? Or what's on your heart to share?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think like over the years of changing my own life so dramatically, like, postpartum, I lost over 60 pounds. Our business has made, I'm so grateful, has helped thousands of clients and has made millions of dollars. And, if you told me this like 10 years ago, I would never have thought that this was even possible. I never would have thought that change in this dramatic way as possible. And then we've also had clients who've manifested their dream partner. They've lost weight. They've healed incredible things from, disease to pain to all these different things simply through changing their mind. And so I think the biggest thing for everyone to know and for everyone to walk away from is that don't depend on what the outer world is telling you to dictate your dreams, because there's always an opportunity for miracles. There's always an opportunity for synchronicities. There's always an opportunity for something that you've never seen before to drop into your life. And so don't be that one person in your life to tell yourself no, right? Go after what it is that you want. Have faith in what it is that you want. Pray, ask your angels, like ask for what it is that you want, and then move forward as if you know that the answer is already yes, because it's when you move forward in that energy, you become an active participant in your success. And that is actually what will help it align to your yes. So when we're manifesting something, it's not just through what we're thinking and we're feeling, although that is important, but our actions are also a byproduct of what we're feeling. So we want to have that all in alignment, and that will help you create your yes. And just believe it, even if you don't know the how, because miracles can happen. I've seen them in my own life. I've seen them in my client's life.
Yeah, that's so powerful, because also, it's so easy to relate to the physical world, like to the circumstances you are in right now, and think, okay, that is fixed, but that's only the material world. And I think that's powerful what you just shared, to keep a vision, because everything is built from there.
I totally agree.
So thank you so much for being on the show, for sharing your experience and the powerful tools that you can use using your mind. And
Yeah.
and I'm looking forward to dive deeper into all this topics even more, because I think they can literally change the world, as you said.
Yeah, and I'd love to hear, because I know you went through the program. I'd love to hear, how are you using the techniques in your life, and what programs do you have?
Yeah, for me, it's
Or
like,
what are you doing in your coaching?
it totally shifted the focus from like, yeah, focusing on what is to focusing where you want to go. I love hypnosis, so I work a lot with hypnosis and also EFT tapping. And so I'm always amazed how quickly you can change, like, even beliefs, when you get to this different parts of the mind. And that's something I specialized on, like really working with emotions, with the beliefs. And right now I'm mostly working one-on-one, and I'm starting to preparing like workshops and group programs. Like, I'm in the making of putting out more and more online content, and it's really fun. I really love it.
I love that. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you.
And I must say, I had a coaching, like a normal coaching certification, and I always thought, okay, there's something missing. That's not like the emotional part. And so I was so excited joining your program, and it was so, also the energy was so amazing. I really loved it. So thank you for being here, and I'm looking forward what you will create.
Thank you for having me. It was such a pleasure chatting with you.